Hello everybody and welcome back to the Crooked Hour. Today we're going to be breaking down UFC 298, quick picks starting from the early prelims up to the main event. We're doing quick picks. When we get to the main card we'll slow down a little bit. And we're starting off straight away with Andrea Lee versus Miranda Maverick. Now, I've got to get this microphone. It only goes a certain extent, so hopefully that's good enough. But I am leaning towards Andrea Lee, but this coin served me very well last week. I picked Topuria. I said, I'm either going Topuria or Robert Brisky, I think his name was. And then I even flipped it for how the fight was going to end. I said KO or decision. It said decision. And what do you know? Topuria wins by decision. Now, I think this fight is going to go to decision, so we're eliminating that part because this fight's going to decision. So, just want you to know, I am leaning Andrea Lee, but this coin will ultimately decide it. We got tails for Andrea Lee, heads for Miranda Maverick. That was good. Tails. So we're going Andrea Lee. The pick stays the same. We're going Andrea Lee. There's just not much to say. I think it's a close fight. Both good grapplers. Andrea Lee's an underdog. So honestly, for how close this fight is, I don't mind the bet of Andrea Lee. She's got decent stand-up, decent kicking game. Miranda Maverick is sometimes a little bit stiff on the feet. I can see Andrea Lee picking at her, winning the grappling exchanges, and winning a decision here, maybe 2-1, close fight, maybe even a split decision. But we're going Andrea Lee by decision. That's the official pick. Oban Elliott versus Val Woodburn. I'm going Val Woodburn. Unpopular pick perhaps, but I'm picking him, as my notes say, because he's the GOAT. Val Woodburn's the GOAT. Fuck John Jones. Fuck GSP. Val Woodburn would sleep them all. Nah, in all seriousness, I am going Val Woodburn. He's got a 2-inch reach advantage here, and he is explosive. You watch his earlier fights, he is an explosive guy. He can be explosive in the pocket. And Oban Elliott can be hit, and that's just what it is. Like, Oban Elliott, sure, is a bit better fighter, but I think Val Woodburn will be... This is his chance to stay in the UFC. And when you got a guy as explosive and built like he is, like, just look at how he's built. When you got a guy like him, knowing his chance, he's going to go for that knockout. So, I think he's dropping down a weight to a more suitable weight class too. I think the height is going to be, it's only 2 inches, not too much difference, especially when he's got a 2-inch reach advantage. I'm going to say Val Woodburn via first round KO. I think he catches him in exchange in the first round early. And then I think he ground and pounds him out. That's my prediction. Val Woodburn via round 1 KO. Josh Quinlan versus Denny Barlow. Now, rate Denny Barlow, and I did rate Josh Quinlan, but I don't really rate him anymore after his last performance. Denny Barlow looks great. He's got great boxing. As I wrote, better striker, knockout artist, more solid all around. I think he catches Quinlan and finishes him. 8-inch reach advantage, is that correct? No, it's like a 7-inch reach advantage. What is that? Yeah, 7-inch reach advantage. Like, he's going to have the reach advantage, and he's a knockout striker. And in my books, a better striker, better boxer. I think Denny Barlow KOs him in the first round. We're going back-to-back first-round KOs. I just think Denny Barlow's better. Josh Quinlan doesn't look the best. He doesn't have the pace to keep up all of the time. He waits. And I think Denny Barlow, he's got a decent pace. He's got a good striking output. Like, look at the difference here. 3.68 for Josh Quinlan. 12.15 for Denny Barlow. I'm guessing he hasn't had many fights in the UFC. So that's why it's so high. But still, we're going Denny Barlow, first round KO. Moving up on the card. Zhang Mingyang versus Ribeiro. Now, I do like both of these fighters. I do like them a lot. They're both scrappy fighters with knockout power. They could both switch each other off, and that makes for an exciting matchup. This is definitely a fight on the early prelims to look out for. But I'm going Zhang because I think he's more of a dog fighter. I think he's really got that dog in him a little bit more. That's what I've seen of his fights. He's got that, like, he just seems like he's got a little bit more of a dog in him. You know, you got Ribeiro's an inch harder, has a 6-inch reach advantage. But I think Zhang's going to be able to break that distance and withstand Brendson Ribeiro's shots and land some good shots of his own. In my notes, what I said, Ribeiro is a bit awkward, which he is, which might leave openings for Zhang. I said I think Zhang is going to be scared to throw down, and I think he's got the slightly better striking and pace. And I think he's going to win by second round KO. We're going back to back KOs here. Like, imagine if that actually happens. Great way to start the early prelims, start the card. So that's my pick. Zhang Mingyang versus Brendson Ribeiro. By the way, this is the start of the prelims, sorry, not the early prelims. But Zhang Mingyang's my pick. I think I just said I'm going Brendson Ribeiro, but I'm going Zhang Mingyang via second round KO. Next up, Rinya Nakamura versus Carlos Vera. This is simple. Carlos Vera ain't very good. Ilia Nakamura is good. I just said I could see him finishing the fight anywhere. I could see him catching him on the feet, see him subbing him on the ground. I just think he's more dangerous than Carlos Vera, and Carlos Vera doesn't really have much to open. That's why the odds are like how they are. Like, don't bet on this fight unless you're adding it to a parlay, but I ain't betting on this fight because if Carlos Vera somehow comes through and clips him, bro, the odds just aren't worth it. But I do agree with the odds. He's a more complete fighter out of the two, in my opinion, and I think he can win this fight pretty much however he wants. Domination, kind of a layup for him, not going to lie. So I'm going to say second round finish. I think Carlos Vera is good enough to survive a round. Surviving a round will be an accomplishment for him. Like, I don't mean to be rude, but when you look at this matchup, if he survives the first round, thumbs up to him, because Nakamura is dangerous. I see him getting a second round KO. Next up, Rogerio de Lima versus Justin Tafa. Now, I was going to give away a spoiler, but I won't until the end. But I'm going Justin Tafa. Because he's Australian, because I like him, and because he's going to knock Rogerio de Lima out. I just see this fight, as good as Rogerio de Lima is, he is hittable, and he is coming off a wicked KO loss to Derek Lewis, getting flying knee in the head. Now, it could be scary if Justin Tafa does get taken down. It can. You know, Rogerio de Lima's got good grappling. But Justin Tafa has said he's been working on his grappling, which we will see. But my bet is that he's going to KO him before Rogerio de Lima gets his grappling on. I reckon what I think will happen is start off with low kicks, Marcos. He'll be kicking Justin Tafa's leg, eating it up. But then I think Justin Tafa will go, nah, I can't take these leg kicks anymore, but I'm going to explode. And I think he's going to catch him. Rogerio de Lima is open for big shots sometimes, and you don't want to get hit by Justin Tafa. That's all I'm saying. You don't want to get hit by Justin Tafa, so I think this is a close fight, like very close fight, really. And it could go two separate ways. It's one of those fights where it could go two completely different ways. You never know. But I'm going to go Justin Tafa getting the KO in the first round after dealing with a little bit of adversity to his legs and then exploding, KOing him. I think he just drops him out cold. I think Justin Tafa hits that hard. So that's going to be my pick, Justin Tafa by second round KO. Next up, Amanda Lemos versus Mackenzie Dern. Now, I want to bet on Mackenzie Dern. I want to pick Mackenzie Dern because we all know. But I'm going to go Lemos. I am going to go Lemos. I would be picking Mackenzie Dern if it wasn't for her last fight. Like, she looked horrible. She just looked terrible against Andrade. And it's like, how can you look that terrible against Andrade, somebody who was on a mad losing streak, made to look terrible herself? And she made Mackenzie Dern look terrible. Mackenzie Dern doesn't have the best wrestling, as we know. She has good jiu-jitsu. Her striking's decent for women, weight classes, for strawweight, I should say. But Amanda Lemos' striking's on another level. She actually has technical boxing. She has jiu-jitsu of her own. She has wrestling of her own. I don't see a way Mackenzie Dern can really win here unless she does somehow get her to the ground. I think on the feet it's going to be clear-cut. And Lemos packs power too. She packs power. She's got a really good straight right. Sometimes she steps back, throws that straight right. I think she's knocking out Mackenzie Dern here in the third. I think she's knocking her out in the third round. That's going to be my prediction. Actually, I'm going to go second round. I think her power and just striking and boxing is going to be too much for Dern. I think Dern will start looking for takedowns but not being able to get them. And I think Lemos will hurt her on the feet, chase her down, and finish her before Mackenzie Dern can throw up anything too crazy. So, Go Amanda Lemos, second round KO. That is my pick. Moving on to the main card now. If you haven't smashed a like, please smash a like. It supports the channel. I'm so excited for this card. Beyond belief. It's going to be a good card. Got some of my favourite fighters on it. I'm going to be depressed if it doesn't go my way. Okay? But we're going Anthony Hernandez versus Roman Kopylov. I don't quite know my pick here yet. I quite don't know my pick. I don't quite know which way to go. Close fight. Like, even their records. 11-2, 12-2. I'm going Anthony Hernandez. I literally have written down Kopylov, but I've sort of changed my own mind watching some tape. Anthony Hernandez is a dangerous grappler, and he's strong, and he's tough. And Kopylov's a great striker. I just think Anthony Hernandez's pace is going to be too much for him. I think the smothering style of Anthony Hernandez in the clinch, in the grappling, in the striking. I don't know if Kopylov will be able to set up his kicks as much as he usually does. He still has great boxing though, but so does Anthony Hernandez. Anthony Hernandez boxing isn't bad. I'm going Anthony Hernandez in what should be a really close fight. I don't see either man getting a finish. I see this going to a decision, and it's going to be, did Anthony Hernandez do enough in the clinch or the grappling or the up-close striking, or did Roman Kopylov do enough at distance? But I'm going to Anthony Hernandez via unanimous decision, 2-1, I'm going to say. I was going to say split, but I'm going to go Anthony Hernandez via unanimous decision, 2-1. Just being busier. But Roman Kopylov does have a good chance. He's been looking really good, and his strike, and he's like next level. Not next level, but it's like pretty elite for a middleweight. Roman Kopylov's striking is definitely up there. So, yeah, but I'm going Anthony Hernandez. Next up, Merab Dvalishvili versus Henry Cejudo. I'm going Merab. He's got 4-inch reach advantage, 2-inch height advantage. He's younger. His pressure's just going to be too much for Henry Cejudo. I really do believe that. I think his pressure's going to be too much for Henry Cejudo. And Cejudo might honestly have the better grappling, but the way Merab grapples might be effective in this situation. If you had these two competing at like wrestling championships, Henry Cejudo would probably beat him, but Merab in an MMA fight, I think his wrestling's more adapt to UFC, to MMA than Henry Cejudo's is. I think Henry Cejudo has that, he's got that great karate style striking, but his grappling is like very wrestler based. Like, he doesn't mix MMA much in there, while Merab, after that Peter Yan fight, I can't get it out of my head. I think he's going to be champ by the end of this year. I did predict that. And it's not even like I'm a big Merab fan. I just think his style is very troublesome, like how he just shoots takedowns over and over again. His boxing isn't terrible. It's good. I'd say it's solid even. He's got a great defense. Nice tight boxing. Not a very big power hitter. We have seen it in his early fights, though. He does have some power. He got that spin and knockout. Spin and back fist knockout a while ago. Sorry, I can't think. I got him here. I don't think he gets a KO in a 3-rounder. I think he outpoints Henry Cejudo all 3 rounds. I think his pace in a 3-rounder is just going to be too much for Henry Cejudo, who more likes to fight 5-rounders. Like, when's the last time we saw Henry Cejudo in a 3-rounder? I don't think this is going to be the time Henry Cejudo wins a 3-rounder against Merab, who can push an insane pace. Mix in the grappling, the striking, just outpoint him for all 3 rounds. I think Henry Cejudo will have flashes of moments on the feet, like he will land a good combination or something, but then don't think it's really going to matter. I just think he gets pressured up against the fence, taken down, Merab's throwing pot shots, just outpointing him, out-damaging him, outworking him. That is my prediction. Merab for the win by decision. Geoff Neal versus Garry. Now, besides Garry in his personal life, it's not even what he does in his personal life that worries me. Do whatever you want in your personal life for all I care. Just his attitude and him annoys the fuck out of me. Like, he's so fucking annoying. I liked him at the start, but I don't like him anymore, and I want Geoff Neal to fucking knock him out. I want him to knock him out, and he said he's going to do it. So, Geoff Neal, I'm trusting in you. I'm trusting in you here. And he has a reach advantage by an inch, although Garry's like 4 inches taller. But I'm going Geoff Neal here. I think there is openings for Geoff Neal. Like Ian Garry, I should double check this before I say anything. I can't even open it. You guys will know who I'm talking about. Ian Garry got clipped on the chin by that Chinese fighter, I believe. Sorry if I've misnationalized you. But he did get chinned by some fighter on the chin, got dropped, but that fighter had no finishing instincts. He's not on the level of Geoff Neal. Geoff Neal's going to be able to have good enough boxing and defense to keep up with Ian Garry. I do believe that. Although I think Ian Garry will be able to output him, but I think Geoff Neal's going to get the knockout here. I think Ian Garry leaves himself too open on the feet. With having a reach advantage, he's going to be kicking a lot, and I think Geoff Neal can time those kicks and hurt him. I really think he can hurt him, but I don't even think it'll be with that hook. I think it'll be a straight right as Ian Garry's like chipping at his legs. Geoff Neal will step through, right cross, straight on Ian Garry's chin, drop him, finishes him up against the fence. After Ian Garry's probably winning just due to his kicks and output, but I'm going at Geoff Neal via knockout. I think he can do it. Thing with Ian Garry is, again, he's a long fighter, but he fights up close and he leaves his chin out. His chin's out a lot to be caught, and he just hasn't had a lot of fighters to fight that could connect his chin. Like Daniel Rodriguez. Is Daniel Rodriguez going to clock him? Like, who's Daniel Rodriguez clocking, really? And then, who did he fight last? Neil Magny. Neil Magny last. Like, Neil Magny ain't knocking anybody out. Unless you're Mike Mallet. But, yeah. This is the first power hitter he's fought for a while. If you actually think about it, this is the first elite power hitter he's fighting. And he hasn't been tested with the power shots yet. Up at a high level, and we've already known that he's got dropped earlier, so by lesser competition. So who's not to say that he is open and he doesn't have the best chin, and we're just waiting to find out. It's going to be my pick. I think Geoff Neal's going to clock him here after losing a little bit. I think it's going to be, I'm going to go second round late KO by Geoff Neal after losing the first, but keeping up, and then losing the second, but keeping up until he lands that shot. Maybe towards the end of the second round, he's starting to put his combinations together a bit more, Geoff Neal. Starting to really get in his groove, and that's when he unloads with the shot, KOs Ian Garry. I like Geoff Neal as a dog here, I'm not even going to lie. Like, I do believe that. What power hitter, elite power hitter have we seen Ian Garry fight? Geoff Neal for the win. Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. Now, I made how to bet both ways on this fight, where I do break it down more. So if you want to watch that, I'll try and remember to put it up in a card or just check my channel. It'll be there somewhere. But I'm going Robert Whittaker. I think he can win this fight. I think this is a winnable fight for him. He doesn't have a reach disadvantage, which he does struggle with, and he's only got 1 inch height. 1 inch height disadvantage. I think Robert Whittaker's going to be able to do enough here to win the first 2 rounds, and then I think he's going to KO him in the third. I know that's an unpopular pick. Like, I know everybody who's picking Whittaker thinks he's going to win by decision, but I'm going by KO just from his interviews and this new hunger he seems to have. Sure, he was saying similar things to his fight with Dricus, but this just seems like a little bit of a different energy. I could be reading too much into it. Like, trust me, I could be reading too much into it, but I do think he can knock him out. I think he can knock him out. I think if he's looking to knock him out, if he's fighting in that way, if he's changed his game plan, Whittaker has all the tools to do so. If he has changed his game plan and his style just a little bit, I think he can KO a hurt, worn down, a little tired. I'm not going to say Costa's going to be gassed by the third round, but he might be a bit tired. He might be hurt. His body might be hurt, and his leg might be hurt, and his face might be a little bit busted up. I think that's when Whittaker can really put on the pressure, if that is his game plan. Put the pressure on in the third round, combinations, and finishes him up against the fence in the third, follows him to the ground. I don't think Costa will be out cold, but I think it'll be one of those knockouts where Whittaker's like standing above him, just pounding him, and Costa's not moving, and the ref will have to cool it off. But Costa's best chance is in the first round. I think the first round's going to be close. I did say Whittaker will win the first round, but it could go either way the first round. But I think if Whittaker doesn't get KO'd in the first round, I think Whittaker will start to take over. I think he'll have the good enough defense to avoid Costa's big shots. Not only will Costa not be able to knock him out, but Costa won't be able to stack up those points, those points to win him the decision if it does go there. I think Whittaker might be busier. I think Whittaker will try and match him. He will try and match him while being smart about it. I can just see him wearing Costa down. Third round KO by Whittaker. His first KO in a while. So we'll see how it goes. That's my pick. I'm stressing this one. I'm going to be sweating it because, big Whittaker fan. My heart's going to be fucking racing. But I'm going Whittaker. I think he can win this fight. Main event. Volkanovski versus Ilia Topuria. Again, I've got how to bet both ways on this fight, so if you want to watch that, I'll try and remember it on a card, but it's also on my channel if you want to have a look. Now, I think this fight is a close fight. I'm not going to act like it isn't. I think this fight is a very close fight, Whittaker versus Topuria. And I am worried for Volk. But I am going to go Volk. And just like the pick below, I'm going to go Volk via third round KO. I think he can do it by just being busier and matching Ilia Topuria, similar to how Whittaker will meet Costa. I think there'll be moments where he'll be in trouble. He might get hit by a big shot, but he'll be sort of defending it at the same time, so it won't clean him. I think he can keep up in this fight, destroy Ilia's lead leg. Just keeping a good pace on Ilia, even taking him down at times, defending Ilia's takedown, sort of breaking Ilia a little bit. I don't really think Ilia can be broken in saying that, but I do think Volkanovski will be able to keep up enough to win this fight. I think he'll be outpointing him. Sure, he might get hit by a big shot here and there. I don't think it'll be enough to knock him out at this lower weight division. I think he'll be stronger in the grappling. I think he'll be stronger in the clinch. I think he'll have the grappling advantage here if it does go to the ground, although Ilia does have good subs, so that's something to look out for. Ilia started as a jiu-jitsu guy. But I think Volk he's got the better skill set. If you look at it like this, who has the better skill set, Ilia or Volk? You put the grappling to Volk, you put the striking to Volk, you probably put the chin and the power to Ilia. But we haven't really seen Volk's chin too bad at featherweight. So this will be the fight to test it. That's the exciting thing. This will be the fight to test it. I just think Volk's got the tool set to outpoint him here and eventually get a third round KO. That is my prediction. I think they'll be going back and forth. Back and forth. Both landing good shots. Volk landing good leg kicks. Ilia landing good boxing combinations. Volk keeping up. Volk looking to counter. Ilia looking to counter. I think Volk will be able to end up finding that lead hook. That lead hook, that's what I'm looking for. I think that's what Volk will be able to find on Ilia in the pocket as Ilia is about to wind up a shot, because I also think Volk will have a slight speed advantage here. Volk is quick and he's got better footwork and he'll be able to move himself in ranges better, outer ranges better, be able to pivot better, all things like that. Volk's footwork is crazy. He also switches stances a lot more than Ilia. Ilia doesn't switch stances. Volk is very clean at switching stances to confuse Ilia. He might be strike and switch into a stance, throw another combination, switch into another stance, throw a leg kick. I think he'll end up hurting Ilia. Ilia will be pretty hurt by the third round, and I think that's just going to aid in his KO when he lands that lead hook. I think when that lead hook lands, Ilia will already be pretty hurt. I do think this first round will start out slow. I think it'll be a lot of each other figuring each other out. I think they'll be playing it smart. I don't think Ilia's going to run in and wing with big hooks like he usually does. I think he would be trying to play it smart because, he doesn't want to go in with big hooks and Volkanovski KOs him in the first round. I think he'll be playing it careful, trying to get his own reads. And then I think in the second round, that's when it starts to go down. And that's when we see who has it. That's really what this fight is about. Who has it? Does the up-and-coming dog have it? Or does the champ, Volkanovski, have it? That's an exciting thing about this fight. Guess we'll find out. But I've got Volk. Third round KO. I reckon he can do it. I reckon he can KO him. Yeah, that lead hook is going to be my call. In the pocket, in a striking exchange after Ilia's already been hurt. But anyway, guys, that's been this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Hopefully you enjoy this card. Comment down your lock of the card. Actually, I should do my lock of the card real quick. My lock of the card. Let me have a look. I haven't even picked one, but just scrolling down. I'm going to go Merab lock of the card. Or should I go Lemos? Could go Rinya, but that's boring. I'm gonna go one exciting. Merab. I'm gonna go Merab for my lock of the card against Henry Cejudo. I think he can get it done, and I'm pretty confident in it. But yeah, comment down your lock of the card, and as always, guys, have a good one.
Give me 5 minutes, I'ma pull up with like 5 niggas. Give me 5 minutes, girl, I'ma be right with you. If you're vibing right.